and welcome to What Productions. I am Nick.
And I'm Evan.
And this is going to be a little podcasty thing covering this last week in video games, and what a banging fucking week it's been.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people talking about, like, the things that they missed. You know, your GTA 6s, your obvious dipshit that's like, Half-Life 3, you know, like, whatever, right? Like, where's Half-Life? You know, we don't really care. For what we got, I think we had an awesome week of game reveals and a lot of stuff to be excited about. Yeah, I think that, obviously, you know, the elephant in the room is that Grand Theft Auto is coming out in November. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but with that being said, everything that's coming out, I'm really excited for. And let's just start off with the state of play.
So last Tuesday was Sony's State of Play, and we opened with Wolverine.
We got a solid, like, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes of gameplay.
Yes, we did.
We got some, like,
slice.
reveals. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it took me a minute to really like this. I would say the start of this definitely peeved me a little bit. Wolverine is not a stealth guy. He is visceral. He is in your face. He is tearing shit to bloody guts. And in the beginning, we got a buddy of ours who always makes fun of Sony games doing this. But when Wolverine's in the beginning and he's like this.
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, okay, he's Wolverine. It's like he's like fucking Doom guy. Where'd you put the fucking steel plug?
It's over there.
Oh, never mind. He's like Doom guy, right? Like Doom guy doesn't stealth. Master Chief doesn't stealth. Wolverine's a unit like that. And once we kind of got out of the stealthy shit that is just in every single Sony game ever, the Horizon series, the Ghost series, Uncharted, The Last of Us. Once we got past that and we saw the actual gameplay of Wolverine tearing shit to bloody guts in a fucking lit set piece, I was in. I was so bought in. It looks like a ton of fun. I was already going to buy it, but I love it even more.
Now, I know you don't love the stealth stuff. Coming from a comic guy here, I'm a cape ship guy. I don't have any problems with that kind of stealthy stuff. Wolverine isn't necessarily... He still doesn't want to get fucking shot, right? Like, that's just the things. But, like, when we do get into the action, it is super Wolverine. It is nice to see. I like that it was a nice touch that when he got shot in the chest, a big hole popped in the back of his suit and it, like, grew back as he kept going along. I think it's just nice to see that stuff. I like to see that Insomniac is coming in with a game that I was a little initially worried about the M rating for an Insomniac game, because before this, I don't think they've really tackled that maturity level.
Nope, this is their first M-rated game.
Yeah, and I think that is honestly very exciting. I'm a big fan of the linear storytelling.
Which is making a huge comeback this year.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be really nice to come back to. I'm really excited just for this game. Well, like, Insomniac, Wolverine, you already got my money. You know what I mean?
Amen. I'm saying the same thing. I mean, especially coming off Spider-Man 2, which was such a fucking banger, right? This I'm very much excited for.
Which is funny because both of us have very different opinions on Spider-Man 2, but I still know that, like, Insomniac's going to knock it out of the park with us.
A lot of the other... Moving on past this.
Yeah.
A lot of the other trailers in this were very succinct. They were very short. It's very much, here is game, here is release date. A lot of stuff we've already known about. Unimusha 2, Control Resonant, Ace Combat 8. These were all projects we know about, and they all have release dates now. And they're all within 3 weeks of each other. All of these look really cool. I was already going to buy these. Control Resonant, I know looks fan-fucking-tastic. I have not played Control yet. I will play Control before this game for an upcoming channel project.
Yes.
But I love Remedy. Remedy is very much the Christopher Nolan of video games. They make these very trippy, cinematic games, but on a very high budget and high profile. And they're also very explosive and very just... you kind of get my metaphor? Because, you know, like, they have Alan Wake and they have, Max Payne and all that.
And, you know, there is a love it or hate it group out there that are like, oh, you either love this universe or you don't. Or you do, you know, and I think I'm excited for Control Resonant. I think each time we get more gameplay of it, I'm more excited. So I'm also excited to jump into Control because, you know, he's playing it. I'll probably end up playing it a little bit too. So I'm excited for that. To move on from there, Until Dawn 2 is getting a release. I did not expect that, to be honest with you.
No, that was a big surprise. Never.
I like the cast a little bit. Dacre Montgomery's coming back. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He played the original Red Ranger in the reboot Power Ranger series. He's also Billy, Max's older brother on Stranger Things. That looks neat. That's going to be a lot of my reaction to these, by the way. It's like, oh, that looks nice. Kind of like, right? Like,
I'm kind of with you because it's so much. I'm not gonna be able to play everything. I never played the first one. This whole completely story based
your choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure thing that doesn't really have any gameplay. It's not super my thing. Right, I never played the first one. The first one for that style is very cool. I'm definitely excited for this. It's something I could just watch on the Rad Brad though. It really is.
Honestly, yeah, there's just a lot of it where I'm like, I guess I'll see when it comes out if I really want to play it. But like, a lot of these things are gonna hit that back catalog pretty hard. Moving on to the next part, Marvel Token got a release date.
Dude, I mean,
Arc System Works is fucking sick.
Dude, this game just has all the style in the universe, right? Like, it's just so stylish. It's so fresh. It just looks... Arc System Works really knows how to craft a fighting game that is so much fun no matter what your skill level is. You
Honestly,
could be button mashing your way through all this, and you'll be having a great time. They make games that have very good skill curves that make it fun to actually learn the game. Usually fighting games are such a wall to approach because you usually have to have such a high skill level. Like something like Tekken, right? It's never something that me
Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, those like big games have never been my jam. But anything Arc System Works has been putting out has been awesome. I love fighters, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I think that's awesome. And tackling the Marvel Universe is something I'm really excited for them to do. And I like the cast, obviously. You got a lot of like your returning voices, Josh Keaton, what's his nuts who plays Obi-Wan.
Oh, James Arnold Taylor.
James Arnold Taylor. Like a lot of these great voice actors are coming back for the replies to their voices. Fred Takashore does the Hulk. I'm very excited for Token. I think it's fun. It looks a lot of fun. I love the style. I love that it is a Marvel vs. Capcom looking game.
Definitely.
Because, I'm a big MVC2 player. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is so good. And I am excited to see a flashy fighting game again. So that's going to be really exciting.
That's what Arc does best at. Just making something super flashy, super fun. The models look so good. Much more comic-inspired versus MCU-inspired, which is really good to see.
And the anime style, too. Like, it feels like a comic book, but it also still feels like an anime. You got a very defined style for that. And I'm really excited for that. I guess we should address... the big release of State of Play.
The showcase was God of War Lao Fei. Don't you know this how...
We can't sing this too much because it'll copyright.
Sorry, I had to do like the first thing though.
All right, let's get this off the boat.
So I didn't bring it up in my Ghost of Yotai review because it wasn't worth my time. You fucking men are insufferable. Insufferable. It's the logic of women in game make game bad is the dumbest shit ever. And I'm gonna be honest, it's Pride Month. Embrace your pride. If you're really telling me that you would rather spend 15 hours looking at a big burly man ass over a woman ass, and you are going to make such a big fucking deal about that to bitch on every social media app that you have, I'm sorry, but you are gay.
Maybe a little bit. But, here's the thing. It is not, to me, okay. I'm not the biggest fan, and I know you're not, the biggest fan of these reboot God of War games. 2018 is a perfectly fine game. It is a Sony game through and through, though. We cannot deny it, especially after, games like, your Uncharted franchise, your Last of Us, stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, it is a staple of the company. Cannot take that away. So ending on this is a great note. It looks good, but it looks like all the other God of War games since 2018,
I think, you brought it up. We're holding them. I am very critical of both these games. I think they're fine. I very much think it's very much flash over substance, right? Where like the first trilogy feels so impactful, feels so fucking meaty and just visceral. The combat is so hectic and violent. You were throwing the blades of chaos around your entire screen, and it is some of the most well-aged games of all time. Like, especially for 6th gen era games, like PS2 era games, it is phenomenally well-aged. These games just, it feels like it lacks just that expression. It lacks, for lack of a better word, that sauce that made that first trilogy so cool. This game, in a lot of ways, feels sterilized to me. The combat feels generic. It feels kind of clunky and just very slow. Even after you get the Blades of Chaos, like, I don't like how you're up Kratos' ass. Maybe that's why the incels are mad.
I want to feel Kratos' butt cheeks. Another podcast where we talk about buttholes. You know,
we're bi-men. It's what we do.
It is true. But to kind of get my 2 cents out on this one, I think it's the tone shift that really messes us up. You know, the first 3 God of War games are very silly. You know, like, and that's on purpose. And like silly in a certain way, you know, like it knows that it is a fighting game where you're going and fighting against the pantheon of the Greek mythology, right? Or it's the Greek, right? I can't remember for life of me for a second.
This is Norse, yes.
Yes, Norse, Greek, right? But you're going up against the Greek mythology and like, you know, this huge pantheon of characters that are all very defined, right? You know, this is a thing that's been a thing for thousands of years, right? But, you know, with God of War switching its tone in 2018, I think really does affect how people play it and perceive it now. There's going to be a whole generation of people who've not even know what the original God of Wars are like.
That must suck
until
for them.
That remake comes out. And we'll be really excited for that. And we'll be, you know,
It's very much like, I guess what I would compare it to is it's very like Metal Gear Solid coded, where it takes itself so seriously that it becomes goofy. Right?
Yeah.
And like that's very much what those early God of Wars feel like, is that it feels so serious that it becomes goofy. Also too, like, in the first God of Wars, you're fighting fucking gods, and it feels like you're fighting gods. Mm-hmm. In this, you're fighting the same fucking Colossus 12 times, and it's just like, one is just so much cooler and feels so much more impactful and just so much more
I think
fun.
I think it does get addressed a little bit later because you do fight more gods in the second one. So, but either way, Laufey, I think the trailer looked awesome.
I'll play
it. We will play it. It is a fun looking game.
Just
to kind of bring up Deborah Ann Wool, she's fucking incredible.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to see.
Jack Quaid,
Q boy. Who knew he was in Minecraft Squared?
But ending on it, incels, you need to shut the fuck up. What would you rate it?
The showcase? This one was a pretty solid one, so I'm going to give it like a solid 7.5. And what we were doing
like C+?
C+, maybe fearing it to B-. Because I really enjoyed that Wolverine gameplay. There's a lot of stuff that is exciting. I'm glad that we actually have some fucking release dates.
Yeah, this would
Don't get me wrong, the releases being all so close together is really annoying, but we're going to be...
Thank you, GTA 6.
Fuck you, GTA. Piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just really excited for what's to come. This is going to be a big year for gaming.
Always is, and this very much set the table. Right, it was the first showcase, and it very much said, this is what is coming out this year, very much just setting the table and showing us these games that we already knew about, mostly what's coming out. Until Dawn 2 and God of War Laufey were good surprises of stuff that's going to probably come out later on. I know the way Sony usually operates is they try to get out 2 big exclusives a year, this year being Soros and Wolverine. I'm assuming next year is going to be Until Dawn 2 and God of War Laufey. I will say, I have 2 questions for Sony. Coming out of this showcase. Mm-hmm. Where is Intergalactic and where is Horizon 3? Right? Intergalactic is Naughty Dog's new project. Mm-hmm. It was announced at the end of the Game Awards in 2024. And we have heard absolutely nothing. Apparently, I read an article that the development's been a mess and Naughty Dog's trying to get it under control. Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us are my 2 favorite games of all time. So obviously this is something I'm excited for. It's their first new IP since The Last of Us in 2013. I really want to see more, and especially not seeing anything here in Until Dawn 2 and God of War Lao Fei kind of showing what's going to come in 2027. When the fuck is Intergalactic going to come out?
Right.
And I'm just like, was it announced too soon? What's going to happen with it? And my other thing too is Horizon 3, right? So Horizon Zero Dawn came out in 2017. Horizon Forbidden West came out in 2022, right? We're hitting the point where we should probably start to hear about the next Horizon game, but we've heard absolutely nothing. This franchise is being milked in the strangest way possible with a Lego game and an MMO. And it feels directionless, and it kind of feels like Sony's selling it out to the highest bidders. I don't really know what you want to say about that.
Well, for that particular instance, I feel like, this leads into a different discussion about, like, when should you release a trailer for a game? When should you start building that hype? So, like, let's talk about a game that released a trailer 8 years ago that you talked about. You sent me a text about Elder Scrolls 6. We obviously saw nothing about it, this showcase, this whole SGF.
And we won't see
We will not see anything for a while because it's not fucking ready. It's not going to be for a while. So the fact that they announced that they're working on it, or the fact that they did something with a franchise we just talked about, God of War, the fact that they announced that they're doing a remake of the first three, to me pisses me off. It's like, okay, so you're telling me you're making it, but it's not anywhere near ready to be played yet.
So that's probably forever off now too, right?
That's also probably forever off. So, like, to me, I like this showcase particularly because it is gameplay release date, gameplay release date, gameplay release date.
It's very bang.
Yeah,
right?
like, I need that stuff. I don't want to see a game that's in development. I want to see a fucking game that's going to come out either this year or next year.
And you want to know the date for that,
I don't want to know when that's coming out, yeah. Like, to kind of skip over a little bit here, because it's the most recent one. When the Nintendo Direct came out and they showed Ocarina of Time Remake, I was excited because they gave me a date in something, right?
I mean, it just said 2026.
Yeah, it's going to come out this year. If it's Nintendo, it's not going to fuck around.
Do you remember Breath of the Wild?
Oh, well, Breath of the Wild's weird.
They said that game was going to come out in 2015, dog.
Fair. But, either way, I just need some definitiveness. And not like, hey, we're working on it. Don't give me that fucking bullshit. I don't care.
Because we're never going to hear about it again. It's just going to vanish into the ether, right?
Yeah, and I bet you Bethesda is either working on it actively, because, we'll talk about Bethesda here in a second. They definitely didn't show up for this showcase at all. So, they're either actively working on it, or B, they want us to forget. We will not forget, Bethesda. We saw that you want to do an Elder Scrolls 6. It's gonna come eventually, but the fact that it's been 8 years since that came out is fucking ridiculous, and honestly shocking and sad.
I agree with you. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, we'll move on to Xbox, which is...
No, we're Summer Games Fest.
Oh, SGF, Summer Games Fest. Yeah.
So this was the best Summer Game Fest I have ever seen. Ever since 2020, Jeff Keighley has been slowly hyping this up, gaining momentum with it, and getting bigger and bigger announcements at it. Mm-hmm. This was very much the best one I have ever seen. It's
nice to see Jeff is just such a big face in the gaming industry. It's nice that he pulls this kind of stuff out, and people are excited to do it. To kind of start us off with 2 survival horror games, Resident Evil Veronica and Alien Isolation 2. One of those I'm super stoked for. The other one I'm like, all right on, because it's Resident Evil. I'm excited for Resident Evil.
You need to play Resident Evil, dog. Resident Evil's so fucking good. I recently this year, in anticipation for Resident Evil Requiem, I played Resident Evil 7, 8, and then 9. Those games, so good. Some of the most well-paced, tight experiences in gaming today. Capcom is on a fucking heater.
I was about to say, Capcom is on a roll this year. Just alone.
Anything that they touch at this point feels like it's going to turn to gold. So Code Veronica 2, a more underrated Resident Evil game, one that's kind of forgotten, and also one that's really expensive and hard to get. Mm-hmm. This game originally launched on the fucking Dreamcast, right? Very cool this is getting brought back. Interesting to see what they're going to do with it. A great way to start off a showcase with. Pull people right in, show something that so many people care about, and... I didn't think Resident Evil was going to be my thing before I played it. Resident Evil is so fucking cool. You should play it. You
I'll hop on that train.
You gotta hop on that train.
A train that I've already hopped on, and I'm excited for Alien Isolation 2.
I need to put
I fuck with Alien pretty hard. That's one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. the fact that they are getting a sequel to a game that is so faithful to the lore of that franchise, and such a great game, because I started it and I haven't really finished it, but that game is awesome.
That game looks like it has
it's
some.
fucking terrifying. It brings that alien, like, survival horror, scary stuff from the first movie into the game, right? So the fact that we're getting a second one of those, honestly, is so exciting, especially since it's such a big universe and they're expanding it to the Predators now. So, like, those universes colliding, it's gonna be. I'm just excited for that. Like, honestly, Alien Isolation is going to be fucking sick.
And especially, too, it's been 11 years, and that very much seemed like a game that, like, was... I have not played Alien Isolation. I will play it before that game, though, because it's one of those things that I've heard nothing but great things. That game looks like it has some fucking vibes to it, man. It looks so just dreadful and just scary and, in the best ways. It was really cool to see because it's been 11 years since Alien Isolation came out. It definitely felt like one of those things that was just always going to exist but never going to get a sequel.
Am I crazy? That was like almost a launch title for PS4, right?
Yeah, like 2014.
Yeah, that was like it's. So I'm just glad that they're coming back to that.
I am too.
Like I said, I am excited to see, like, we've been just kind of on a tear with that franchise right now. Like,
I heard Romulus was really good.
I would say whether or not you love or hate it, Romulus was kind of something I vibed with a lot. It got me into the franchise, so like. It's just nice to see that there's a lot of love for that right now, and that's going to be great. Moving on, I guess a little bit here, though, to get things kind of going. Cuphead projects are coming out. It's nice to see that. You wrote it on the notes that we have here. It's nice to see this IP expanding beyond that. All of the hand-drawn art styles coming back as well.
But more in an 8-bit direction.
Yeah,
right?
more 8-bit direction. And it's nice to see. Cuphead's awesome. I mean, honestly, like that first game is really great. We all got fucking mad at it, you know. Like,
yeah.
We all went on a tear. We were like, you know, we're all gonna play Cuphead, you know, and get fucking fucking angry at it. So it's just nice to see that Cuphead's just getting more stuff other than the animated series, which apparently is also great. So
I didn't even know they had a show for it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That's really cool. Fuck
you, Netflix. But.
Is that the thing with our pod? Are we gonna call our podcast the Butt Podcast? The Buttcasts? Buttcast.
I was trying to. If you guys have a name for the podcast that we are doing here,
you
should put it in the comments.
I feel like we should do Buttcast. It's so stupid.
Buttcast.
Anyway, yes, I'm very cool to see 2 new Cuphead projects. It's not my thing, but it's very cool. Gen Atlas. This was really cool and definitely a surprise. So I'm gonna butcher this name, but Fumito Ueda, something like that.
Very Japanese name.
Yeah.
I'm not the best. It is. I can't read it from here, even with my glasses on. But from Shadow Colossus, dev. Let's just get hyped here.
This is cool.
New IP. Let's get it hyped. Let's show some love for a creator who made a franchise that's fucking standing the test of time. You know what I mean?
This game very much carries the vibes from Shadow of the Colossus. It has that loneliness to it, that eeriness, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, like, it very much feels Nier Automata inspired, very much like that version of, like, Japanese industrial dystopian, right? Very much that vibe to it. With, like, the world is just robots. I love the energy, like something like Shadow of the Colossus brings, right? Where it feels like it's just you against this wide world where everything is trying to kill you. I feel like this is a ways off, but it does look very cool. This game, Upcoming Stranger Than Heaven, I didn't even know if I wanted to talk about it, but apparently...
Snoop Dogg and the late Tupac.
Is this AI? Like, how are they doing this?
I don't know. There has been a lot of talk about AI around games lately. Obviously, we'll kind of address it here. If it is AI, fuck you. That's dumb.
And that's fucked up because he's dead. Yeah,
it's fucked up because he's dead. And even if you get the permission of the family, it does feel kind of odd. You know, if you want to be excited for Stranger Than Heaven, go ahead and be excited. I'm not going to squish your love, but I'm going to sit here and be like, if it's AI, I'm not very excited. Even if it isn't AI, it's kind of weird bringing back Tupac from the dead.
It's the Yakuza developers, so I'm sure it will probably be good.
It'll probably be solid. And yeah, like we do like Yakuza here. So, cool, I guess, but weird, very odd.
So bizarre. When they said Tupac was in it, I'm like, It was weird. It looks okay. I don't know. This next game though, I'm hyped for this.
This is a personal one for me too. TMNT Last Ronin. We had this announced a couple years ago where they were
really? I
talking
didn't know
about
this was already announced.
They were talking about making a a Last Ronin game. If you don't know, it is set during a timeline where most of the turtles have died except for one of them. I won't go into spoilers about who it is, but one of the turtles is alive and he's on a revenge quest against Shredder.
Is it my boy Michelangelo?
I can't say nothing, but it is awesome looking. I'm very stoked for this. We didn't get any gameplay or anything like that, but honestly, like the name itself for me is really sick. And from what I hear, they're trying to do a more God of War 2018 style where you're walking through a story. Very linear. I'm very excited for this.
And this is made by the one, the only Platinum fucking Games. The best developer of modern character action games of Bayonetta and Nier fame. This is, I love where the game industry is heading because it very much seems like a lot of these famous IPs are being parsed out to developers that are made for them, right? Like, 007 First Light is huge right now. And Io Interactive, who's been making Hitman games forever, got the chance to make that, and they fucking killed it because they're the Hitman dev. Of course they're going to kill a James Bond game, right?
Right, or just to go into like the Marvel stuff, at least from what I've seen, like Marvel Tokon, we were talking about earlier, that looks really exciting. We're really excited that dev team particularly is working on a game like that. Or did something came out earlier this year, I can't remember, or late last year, Marvel Rivals.
Yes,
like we're glad that those devs got to tackle this, and just bringing a dev team that worked on Nier, on Bayonetta, to bringing it to life, a comic that I personally really love, is fucking sick.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
That, and we haven't had a whole lot of, like, we've had a couple of great TMNT.
Shredder's Revenge, right? I heard that was solid.
I mean, we've had a couple of great things coming out of the TMNT franchise. Your Mutant Mayhems, your Shredder's Revenge, stuff like that. But to tackle something that's a little bit more mature, which the original comics were mature. I don't know if you guys know this.
You think this is going to be an M-rated game?
I hope so.
Okay.
The comic is not fucking around.
At least T-rated.
At a minimum, so, like, I'm excited for this. Platinum Games is working on it. It's going to be awesome.
I hope that gets a release date soon. I really hope that's something that actually comes out next year because that was definitely one of my favorite things shown.
That is a highlight for Evan, particularly. Big fan of... To be honest with you, I'm a big nerd. A lot of 80s franchises scratch an itch in my brain. You know what I mean? Like He-Man, Transformers, TMNT, So I'm excited for anything that comes out from those.
This game definitely probably flew under a lot of people's radars. It looks interesting. I don't know entirely what to make of it. It's called Crossfire. It's very much it seems like a tactical looter shooter type thing. It very much read as a live service game, but the devs came out and said it's a single player experience. It's made by Naughty Dog and Infinity Ward devs in a new team.
So we're having some real tight corridors, some real tactical shooting. I'm really excited for that.
They show this kind of... It's funny. I keep thinking of our buddy when he does the...
For real.
Because that's what it is. But this game with its cover system is very much varied. Like that was a big thing they showed in the showcase where you kind of move up and down cover as it slopes higher and lower. So like as rocks get higher and lower, you kind of go up and down based on where the cover is. It's kind of adaptive in that way. This definitely seems like something for me. It's made by Naughty Dog previous Naughty Dog devs. It definitely feels like something that's going to appeal to me. Interested to see more of it. I might forget about it, but I thought it was worth bringing up.
That's kind of the general consensus. A lot of the middle of the chunk of all these showcases is a lot of shit that's like, oh, this looks cool, but I don't know if I'm going to remember it in T-minus 5 minutes, right?
That's how all these feel, right? It's just so overwhelming.
Yeah, like this next one, 1666 Amsterdam here.
I definitely have something to say
about this. You got something to say about this?
Oh, yeah, that's why I put it on here. So, 1666 Amsterdam, this is made by Patrice Desilets, who was one of the original creators of Assassin's Creed. He left Ubisoft in 2011 to start working on this game with THQ. THQ folded 2 years later, and Ubisoft bought up his particular studio. So fucked what they did. They bought his studio within THQ, fired him immediately, and took over the IP that he was working on. Patrice Desilets was stuck in legal hell trying to get his game back for years, and he did. And he's been working on it, and we have finally seen something of it. This game has been in development for almost 15 years, and it has been in legal limbo for most of that time.
Okay.
And it's interesting. They put the prologue out on Steam for this. I didn't play it, but I watched it. This looks nothing like Assassin's Creed. It's very, very. It's 1666 Amsterdam. It has that very gothic horror edge to it. Very dark. A lot of like blacks and reds. Very kind of ambient in that sense. It looked really cool. Very different. Kind of had a Hellblade vibe to me a little bit. I guess that's that whole European horror vibe, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely looked interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. Just honestly, the whole development story kind of speaks for itself, right? And I'm so happy.
I'm glad that you brought this up then, because now I'm like very intrigued. Like, this is a passion project through and through. So
yeah, exactly.
Honestly, like, not trying to tell you where to spend your money, because we got to make that bread where we can. But if you got the money for it, let's start supporting this guy. I think this would be really interesting and really nice to do. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of say in the world, but let's give some love to this game. This looks fucking sick.
And if anything, previous Ubisoft developers know how to fucking cook. Because that was Expedition 33, was a whole team of previous Ubisoft devs who came out and made the game of the year and one of the highest rated user scores on Metacritic, which is insane.
You also got to take in consideration, obviously those older Assassin's Creed games have a special place in our hearts. And we love our Ezio, we love our Connor or whatever,
And he left right after, I'm pretty sure, Assassin's Creed 3. So a lot of people kind of track him leaving Ubisoft as kind of when the series started to fall off a little bit, because he was against the yearly releases. So again, I'm very interested about this project. I'm very curious, just based on the whole development history of it. This looked cool. This next project. So
this is a Evan thing for sure. Saw Genesis. This looks fun. Did
you watch the trailer for this?
I did not watch the trailer. I didn't watch any of this. But it's a little inside baseball. I don't have time to watch all this shit. But I always will keep up with it, and I work in a place where they will play the trailer constantly.
So you'll hear about it.
So it'll eventually get to my ear. It'll eventually be seen. You know what I mean? But it's cool to see that Saw is kind of taking a survival horror thing, multiplayer game, by Dead by Daylight influence. I just think it looks cool. And
it's also, again, this is very much similar to the Platinum Games project. This is very much, we're taking a known IP and giving it to a developer who knows what the fuck to do with it. This is Blooper Team, who made the Silent Hill 2 remake, and the critically underrated Chronos: The New Dawn from last year. I still need to play that game. That game looks lit as hell. If anyone's played that game, I want to hear about it because it looks super cool. But yeah, again, this is very much another case of the game industry giving double to AAA independent team a project that they can really cook on, right?
Right. It's nice to see that IP driven franchises are giving the right place to grow, or if a studio has an idea for something that they're allowed to work on that IP. So speaking of IP, Star Wars Zero Mission is one of the next things that come up here.
I loved this. So I gotta go on the Star Wars tangent.
The Star Wars tangent.
The Star Wars tangent.
The once a fucking video Star Wars tangent.
Have to. So this is one of the coolest video game projects to come into Star Wars. This is very much an XCOM-inspired TRPG taking place within the Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a time period within Star Wars. So, which is awesome. Star Wars: The Clone Wars is my favorite show of all time. And as much as it has kicked my ass...
I will be excited for anything set during that time, honestly.
Because we're not getting anything from that time period, right? Nothing, right? And so it's really cool to see this. As much as it's kicked my ass, I love XCOM. So melding those two together, I am so into this. I'm so hyped for it.
Release date in August is fucking crazy.
August 27th. There's 2 other games coming out August 27th because everything is coming out on top of itself. So I probably will not buy this on release. Very excited for it. I'm speaking to the Star Wars fans that this is what Star Wars needs. These are the kind of projects that Star Wars need, that makes it cooler, that fleshes out the universe, that takes the IP into places that it's never been. And the entire Star Wars fan base on the internet was just like, well, I want Battlefront 3, Battlefront 3, Battlefront 3, Battlefront 3. And I'm like, there's been...
Which, by the way, if y'all don't remember when Battlefront 2 by DICE came out, people were shitting all over that game.
Because it was a mess.
Because it was a fucking mess. And now, listen, the fact that game is in a state where it is now is great. Let's just put that out there. That DICE worked on it for so long, and they put a lot of effort into it, and the modding community put a lot of effort into it. is great. But, like, you're asking for a game that's inevitably going to be a live service game. So, fuck off. Let's take the Star Wars games where we can, you know? Like,
and it's like, what else do you want? They've made 4 Battlefront games. What else do you want out of these games? And, like, I've played them. It's just Battlefield, but Star Wars, right? Like, it's not the craziest thing
at least the new
ever.
ones are, but, like, even, like, the old ones. Listen, I love Battlefront 2 as much as the next guy. Like, the original Battlefront 2 on PS2, GameCube, all that. I don't think it came on GameCube. I think it came on Xbox. Anyways, but... Either way, like, these are very by-the-numbers games. Let's take this franchise to a place where it hasn't been before. You know, a TRPG, or maybe not tabletop RPG, but like a tactical RPG, or let's do a solo narrative thing. You know, let's take Star Wars to some places. The fact that Star Wars Racers is super fucking cool looking.
We're gonna get to that. Yeah, that looks awesome.
That looks awesome too. Like. Let's do some different stuff with Star Wars.
It's a good year for Star Wars IPs between these two, right? For, like, again, a TRPG and a racing game. It's very different for Star Wars games. And I will be playing the fuck out of Galactic Racers with you. That looks so fucking
That looks
cool.
like it's going to be fun at a function.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to bust this out. We're going to bust this out with a bunch of boys, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with that. Let's move on to Blood of the Dawnwalker, an action RPG.
This is an action RPG made by old CD Projekt Red devs. Right, so a lot of pedigree there. A lot of the guys working on this game worked on The Witcher 3 and left the studio after that game. Again, kind of similar to 1666 Amsterdam. This is a vampire game, so very, like, gothic horror vibes.
We fuck with vampire stuff, you know.
Fuck with some vampire stuff, man. I'd fuck a vampire.
Freak.
And yeah, this looks really cool. Again, this is definitely something that I won't have time for, but I might get around to it depending on how good it is. I know a lot of this team used to work on with these studios in this game, and now they're working on this, is kind of hit or miss. It's very much a big thing nowadays for, you know, a bunch of people from a team to split off, get investment, and start a AA studio and make a new game. If it's good, I'll play it. It's definitely something that's on my radar.
We're gonna have to hit a lot of word of mouth, you know.
Exactly.
If you guys are in the community or working on games like this, give us an ear and talk to us. We'd love to get involved and talk and, like, help you guys kind of spread the word about these games. If you are a part of the development team or anything like that, we are up and coming YouTubers, so it would be awesome to help some of these studios kind of get their footing out and such like that. So this is definitely one of those games where I'm like, let's start talking about this, because there's going to be a lot of shit that's coming out, obviously, by the end of the year. And
Just
obviously a lot of shit
alone.
that's going to be really close together to kind of get to the point here. With GTA 6 coming around, that, like, the release schedule is completely fucked. August, September, October are going to be fucking nuts. Packed. It's like day by day by day we get new things. So, like, I'm glad that, like, GTA 6 has got that kind of impact on the gaming industry, but, like, what happens if that game fucking sucks?
Or what happens if it gets delayed again?
Or what happens if it gets delayed again? Yeah, like, we are so hardcore on this fucking November whatever.
I think it's an indication that's not going to get delayed again. I think if every single game studio is... I want to kind of save that for the end, right?
Yeah, we'll save it because of GTA 6.
Because this next announcement blew everyone away.
Yes.
I was convinced that this was fucking vaporware. I was convinced this was like the Elder Scrolls 6.
I was not watching the Xbox showcase, but you texted me immediately for this release. The fucking Wolf Among Us 2?
The Wolf Among Us 2. Dog... Telltale, I don't know the entire story, but I cannot imagine the hell that Telltale has gone through to get this game out the door. This was announced, 7, 8 years ago? It was announced fucking forever ago. Telltale collapsed as a studio in the 2010s, and now they came back, and now this may actually happen. I have never played The Wolf Among Us. I need to play it, right? I've heard nothing but great things.
The nice thing is that it's a original IP coming from the studio.
Yes.
Which, you know, me and you both know that they made a fuck ton of those IP-driven stories.
Game of Thrones, The Avengers.
No, they did Game of Thrones. They did...
they did The Avengers.
They did Batman.
They did Batman.
They did...
Minecraft.
Minecraft fucking story mode. Obviously, The Walking Dead. You know, Clementine's become a big IP name for The Walking Dead. It is crazy to me that they got this back. No. because The Wolf Among Us is one of those games that just like defined a generation.
What was
It put Telltale on the map.
So
let's fucking go, Telltale.
Hell yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, no, this is one of those things that like will support it when it comes out. I will definitely be there for it. Just super cool that this is actually happening. That like we're actually seeing this. This is one of those things that was kind of like Elder Scrolls 6 that like a lot of people were convinced it wasn't actually real, right? But to see it actually appear here, hell yes. Moving on to the next thing. So a few years ago, a game came out by a new Korean studio called Stellar Blade. I have it. It's somewhere over here, right there. I didn't love the first game, but this looks really cool. It has so Stellar Blade is very Nier inspired, but kind of with a Souls-like twist.
Right.
Of like it's very sword combat heavy. This very much like looks like it's just fists, right? You're just like Captain Falcon out here, just beating the fuck out of people with just your fists. It looks very cool. Not a lot of gameplay shown at this. Definitely, as I've said a lot, gonna keep it on the radar. Not too much to say. A lot of these trailers were very vague. Right, like and I'm sure that's been a thing forever, but a lot of them just didn't really say too much about what they were actually showing, and this was kind of one of them. We saw a Korean girl walking in the streets and then beating the fuck out of something. I mean, maybe that's all we need to see. Again, looks cool.
If that's all the gameplay that you need to be invested, let's fucking go. But the kind of round everything out for SGF, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the final installment of the remake trilogy. I'm gonna sit here and say it. Final Fantasy VII is not even the best Final Fantasy game, which is not even that's not even a hot take anymore. I like Final Fantasy VII, and I'm glad that like it is revamped for a modern audience, especially people who play the newer Final Fantasies over the old ones.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm just gonna sit here and be like, okay, cool, I guess. Like Final Fantasy in particular is just one of those franchises where I'm like, okay, a new Final Fantasy, let's fucking get it over with,
What is the best Final Fantasy, Evan?
Big fan of 6.
6 is fire.
6 is fire. 10 is a little bit overrated, underrated, in my opinion. I'm Captain Bosch. Bubble Bob Del Massa. Some of these games are great. I'm so glad that like Final Fantasy's still around, and I'm glad that this franchise still has some kind of hold. But Final Fantasy VII is just one of those games we kind of know where it's going.
They've milked this cow so unbelievably dry,
honestly.
Right? Like, and that's the thing. Like when Final Fantasy VII first announced, and they said they were going to do like a 3-episode thing for each disc, I'm like, I will play it when the entire thing is out. And I put in my notes, I'm like, does that mean I actually have to play it? Because this just looks kind of like. I've heard that the remake is good. That
I've played the first one, and the first one was solid. I'm not gonna complain about it. It's just.
Does it feel bloated?
I mean, yeah. It feels bloated for a game that came out 20 years ago, or like
30 years ago.
30 years ago at this point, the original one. So like, it's just kind of the same thing but modernized, Because like, if you like the new Final Fantasy style where it's more action RPG, or we'll talk about this a little bit later, Kingdom Hearts, if you like those games, you're gonna like the new Final Fantasy VII. But I think that the fact that there is just an easily accessible version of Final Fantasy VII that you can play on your Switch, you can play on your phone or whatever. The original Final Fantasy VII. You can play the original Final Fantasy VII.
You can't play the original on your phone.
The original is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The fact that like people are so afraid of that retro game, for me, just kind of hurts me because like that game still holds up for me.
You grew up on it.
I did grow up on it though. I am of the Zillennial generation. I grew up with a PS1 and I played it, the original PS1 version of that. So, yeah, I guess it's just boomer talking boomer shit, right? But if you're going to play Final Fantasy VII, this is a good way to do it, but I much recommend playing the original.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will take this over Highguard, right?
This is a great way to end it, and I know this was really hyped. So
there are a lot of people who care about this a lot more than I do and are happy to see this actually end. Again, it's such a commitment, right? But I think I may sit down and actually play this whole thing, especially now that the entire thing is out. But Summer Games Fest, solid A-. This was a fantastic showcase.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff.
I will say not a lot of release dates, but kind of made up for it in the fact of just like the breadth of things announced, and just if this was very much one of those things where it felt like there was something for everybody here.
Honestly,
and there was even a lot of stuff that I didn't care about, that I didn't really, that's so far removed from anything that I even talk about. Stuff like Guild Wars 3 was announced, right, which is MMORPG, in the same press conference as TMNT Ronin, in the same press conference as Star Wars Zero Mission, the same press conference as Final Fantasy VII Revelation. There was so much variety here. There's very much something for everyone. I hope this is very much kind of setting the table for 2027, and hopefully a lot of these can get release dates going into 2027. But yeah, this was the best Summer Game Fest ever. I think this was the best showcase of the week, right? At least I saw. So yeah.
I would probably give it a solid A- as well. There's a lot of cool stuff. I do like that there is some vagueness to some of these games. I like that we're asking questions so that when 2027 does come rolling around, we kind of ride that low after GTA 6. We can actually have some stuff we can get excited about and grip our teeth into.
The ever-present Grand Theft Auto 6.
What a fucking shadow over the industry.
It is just a shadow looming over the entire industry.
And then we'll go on to the next showcase, Xbox.
So, okay, they started with Gears of War E-Day, and I played Gears of War 3 a few years ago, and I swear to God, that could have been Gears of War 3. These games have not changed since they've came out. That gameplay looks stale in 2016, right? It is just move, shoot, cover, chainsaw. That is the breadth of this entire gameplay. I think at this point, this is the 7th Gears of War, the 8th Gears of War, something stupid like that. Yeah. I think Gears of War is one of those franchises where if you're a fan and if that's your thing and you're bought into these characters, you're bought into this universe, this is for you. But again, the barrier to entry with this already massive plot and universe already established, plus this gameplay looking the way it does, this is not moving the needle for me at all, right? This does not make me regret me selling my Xbox Series S at all with this being an Xbox exclusive. I don't know how you feel about it, but it was the most whatever thing ever for me.
I mean, it is a whatever thing for me, but I'm going to play kind of little devil's advocate to you here so that we don't get a bunch of people commenting being like, "Oh, well, you don't shill for Gears of War, but you're going to shill for Horizon, right?"
That's what I
do. We love the Horizon games, but I doubt if they announced the Horizon, it would also move the needle very far. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a lot of people who are really excited for this game, and I'm happy for them. Gears of War is cool, but it's not the best thing. If you're gonna start out swinging, I guess you'll start out with that. But I think there are better games that Xbox showcase that I'm excited for, like this next one, Fable. Fable looks awesome. So Gears of War for me is just kind of whatever. But having a new Fable come out.
This got
after all these years, fucking sick.
This got a release date too.
It's got a release date. I'm excited.
February of next year. I've been kind of craving a little classical fantasy RPG too. It's been a while since I played one. This trailer said nothing. It was literally just someone talking. There was no gameplay or there was no nothing. This is an interesting release. It's made by Playground Games of Forza fame, which is weird. I don't know if I'm going to buy this on release, but it's on my radar.
I know that they did kind of, from what I see, they are changing the art style a little bit. Fable, the original Fables were a little bit more anime, kind of goofier, cartoony inspired.
A lot of whimsy.
This one is very
serious.
Yes. And there probably is going to be some of the silly elements in the gameplay, but the fact that we are getting photoreal graphics to me kind of is weird. But, I guess Fable fans, get excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to kind of delve myself into this because I've never really touched a franchise, and having this come to a modern console, I'm excited for it. We'll go to one that me and you have a lot of opinions on. Halo Combat Evolved Remake.
Interesting for us being War Productions. We've actually never talked about Halo.
Yeah, we have not talked about Halo, and that's probably for a reason.
Here's the thing. This is very much Halo Studios' first project. This is very much them getting their feet wet. This is a lot of...
Don't get me wrong, this is also 343.
It's
but
a
like
revamped 343.
yeah,
And like this is very much them getting their feet wet. There have been some AI allegations with this game of using generative AI assets, which is definitely a little like,
which is
especially
weird considering this is a remake of a game from
25
years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like not like there's hundreds of pieces of concept art for everything, but if you are like, despite everything, despite all the bullshit, I'm excited to get more Halo. CE is one of my favorite games of all time, so having Combat Evolved come back to a modern console, the first time they've been on PlayStation, I'm excited for it.
Weird to think about.
Yeah, like a Temple franchise. I guess if Microsoft was gonna get rid of one of their franchises, just drop it on another console, I guess it would be Halo, considering the state it's in now.
It's a good point.
You know, like, but I'm still gonna play it because I like it.
Next month, right?
It comes out next month. Yes.
Yeah.
It comes with some pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. So
There's some new content, new missions.
New items in the sandbox. So I think you can drive a Scarab in this, not a Scarab, one of the Covenant ships. You can, one of the missions got the fuel rod gun, the Brute Striker. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that's getting added to the sandbox. I'm excited to play with those. This is also going to be the first time in Combat Evolved's history where brutes are going to be in that time frame, considering they are in Halo Reach, in Halo 2, but not in Halo CE. So I guess it's just going to kind of like redo a little bit of that lore. I'm excited to see Chief again.
Of course, and Sergeant Johnson, who did the entire trailer.
Yes.
Right? No, I'm with it. I'm cautiously optimistic about it, right? Like, I am also too a fan of Halo CE. It looked great too. I like the new art style and art direction.
I like that they are kind of embracing that. I don't know did you play Halo 2 on the Master Chief Collection?
That is the only Halo I've never played.
Okay, so you need to touch that first off. It's not a very long campaign, but Halo 2 Remake on the Master Chief Collection looks fantastic, and I think that's where the direction is going for those franchises, kind of more photoreal, and it looks fantastic. I think those cutscenes are going to be awesome. I love the designs of everything. I like the return to form, so I'm excited for Combat Evolved again.
So this is an interesting project that was announced last year, I'm pretty sure. So the two Plague Tale games are fantastic. AA darlings that were just as much as important as the Hellblade games in bringing back the AA industry. They're fantastic games of Plague Tale Resonance and Requiem, and I would recommend them to anyone to try out. Very different too in terms of gameplay, with like controlling the rats and navigating around plague-torn France. Really unique and different games. This, I don't really know what to make of it. It's set in that universe, and we haven't really seen much gameplay, and it's coming out soon, right? This is coming out, I think, on August 27th, the same day as Star Wars Zero Mission, and I really don't know what to make of this. It's hard for me to be excited about it because it doesn't seem too much. It doesn't really seem to have any of the original characters from the first two Plague Tale games. I don't really know how this ties into that universe. It's one of those things that I'm looking at and I'm like, this could be cool, but I'm not super holding my breath for. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by it, right? Like, I don't really know what it's gonna be like. I feel like this is gonna be one of those things that's just gonna disappear under everything coming out within its wake.
It might be awesome. Like I said,
no.
If you are one of those devs that are working on a Plague Tale or whatever, and you need some like boost in people talking about it, because there is just so much shit coming out right now that like we love to discuss and talk about it. Just let's get in touch, you know. I think that with the bogged downness of this, it's going to take a little bit to shine. So it does suck that these awesome game studios and these awesome franchises are kind of getting bogged down by how much weight that everything has had on it. So, especially with the next thing that we're about to talk about, with a Plague Tale, cool. All the nerds that are going to get excited for this one, fucking Persona coming out is big, you know?
The Persona 4 revival is huge. I know there's been a lot of people talking about a Persona 4 remake. This is big because this game is locked on the PS2 and PS Vita right now. So getting it off those platforms onto newer platforms is big. I am not a JRPG guy, right? Persona is the most JRPG thing to ever exist.
I know we just talked about Final Fantasy, but I'm also not the biggest JRPG guy anymore either. Can't put much focus into it. Especially those, Persona games are like 150-hour games,
They're absolute monsters.
Huge.
And, like, it's one of those things where, like, I'd rather play 10, 15-hour games instead of an 150-hour game. I just don't have the time anymore. I got a full-time job, right? Like, I'm not 17 and my only worry is high school anymore and playing games, right? I'm just not that person anymore. I tried to play Persona 5. I got 20 hours into it. And I was like, this isn't my thing. And
which is a sizable chunk, by the way.
More
that's
than
not
most
fucking around.
It's more than most games I play. And everyone was telling me, well, you didn't get far enough. You don't understand. I'm like, I put 20 hours into it. It wasn't my thing. Like, I don't know how much more I could put into it. I will say it is very cool to see this. It is cool for this to get onto modern platforms to increase accessibility and also just a solid remake. I know the Persona 3 remake was very well received. I'm sure this will be 2. Mm-hmm. Kind of in lieu with this 2 is Persona 6. This trailer was fucking bizarre. I don't know if you saw the trailer for this.
It's one of those things I just...
right? It was a really spooky, weird, creepy trailer that was like 45 seconds long that didn't show anything besides a logo. This breeds of way too far off. This looks years off.
It's another one of those things where it's like, this got announced a little too early. We're probably not going to see any gameplay of it for the next couple years, minimum. So, like, again, to me, Persona is like one of those franchises where it's like, it's kind of like the One Piece of video games. Where you're like,
that's a good take.
you're not going to get into it until you're 50 hours in. Like, you can't get into it until you're 5 hours in.
And it has that same committed audience that, like, those people think it's the greatest thing ever made in the same way that One Piece fans think that One Piece is the greatest thing ever made. And to the rest of us, we're like, we can't play 150 hours of Persona 5. We can't watch 1,300 One Piece episodes. We just don't have the fucking time, right? Like,
right. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's bad because it's long. That's not true, right? There's a lot of great things that take a lot of time. I like Final Fantasy 7. I like Final Fantasy 10. These are 150-hour games too, So, you do you.
Basically.
I'm glad that Persona is getting still a lot of love. I think the fact that there is still JRPGs being made that are popular and fun are awesome. JRPGs should not go away. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm glad it is we're addressing it because we are glad it's existing, and we're excited for Persona 6 for you Persona fans.
And it's growing up this is a slight tangent. Growing up is realizing just because something isn't your thing means it's bad, right? Like, Persona is not my thing. I could recognize Persona is a technical marvel for what it is and what these games are. These are massive experiences, right?
And the fact that they come out basically all the way polished.
And they're incredibly well polished, too. Like, these are awesome games, right? Just not my cup of tea. Moving on to something else that is also not my cup of tea and something that is also kind of niche is...
I'm kind of excited for this, is State of Decay 3. Not to jump off your boat here.
No, you're good.
State of Decay 1 was really fun when I was playing it. I didn't touch State of Decay 2 yet. I might hop in there. But State of Decay 3, I'm glad that this is a franchise that isn't dead yet. Let's keep doing some more zombie stuff. I like zombies. I think it's a fun little... They're like I'm with George Romero. They're the fucking blueprint of monsters. You want to do a zombie story.
That's an interesting take. I've never heard that take before.
Well, I love George Romero. Fucking listen to him talk. He's fucking brilliant. But I'm really excited for this. I think this will be fun. State of Decay is an interesting franchise. So
State of Decay is very much like, of all the zombie franchises, it's definitely the one with the least story. This is definitely the one. It's like, build your colony, build your base in the zombie apocalypse, gather your survivors and fight against the infected, right? Like, it's very much of that blueprint, which is very much not me. I think there's a lot of people who get a lot out of these, like, vaguely guided sandboxes, right? Where it's like there's kind of something guiding your direction, but you have a lot of freedom in the way you can express yourself in this game and creative decisions with it. Again, I think there's a lot of people who are very bought into State of Decay 1 and 2. For those people, this is great. This is not something I will play because I like a very structured, linear narrative experience, but for those people, this is great. Moving on to something that is very much my thing.
Very excited for this personally,
Metro 2039. We've heard about...
Here, real quick. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. We've heard about this for a while. Metro is a weird franchise because it very much feels like a franchise that was trying to follow trends with its last two games. Metro Last Light was very much made in the action-adventure linear structure of popular games of the early 2010s, and Metro Exodus was made in the open-world formula of games of the late 2010s. Metro 2039 is very much like, fuck all that. We are returning to what made this series so cool in its best game, Metro 2033. This feels very much like a return to the Metro tunnels, to the psychological horror that defined that first experience and made it so good. The claustrophobia of it, just the general dread that just emanates throughout all these halls in the Moscow metros. This looks so fucking cool, and Metro is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It is maybe the most underrated gaming franchise of all time. I hear so many people say, Metro's cool, but I've never played it. Go fucking play Metro. The Metro Redux pack is something that's on Steam usually for like $6. Go play it, right? You will not regret it. These games are fantastic. A perfect merging point between a great linear narrative game and a psychological horror experience. Cannot recommend them more. Cannot be more fucking excited for this game next February. I will buy this on release.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say about Metro, but we'll move on to Join Us.
This kind of feels like following the Schedule 1 formula. I don't know who remembers Schedule 1. That game was huge last year. Very much an indie darling game that just blew up last year. Very much.
Really, I guess we can touch on a little bit of the Friend Slap stuff, you know. This is kind of that vein.
Yes.
Of the Friend Slap franchises. You know, your Peaks, your fucking... this is an early one, but Lethal Company, stuff like that, right? Like, these are going to be fun. They're going to be like a 2-week...
Among Us.
Among Us, right, yeah. So, like, I'm just...
This looks neat because it looks, again... Friend Slap by itself is not something I'm usually interested in. Something like this looks cool, though, because it looks very structured. It looks like there's a lot to it, right? Join Us is very much a cult simulator where you are tasked to build a cult. You can construct your whole compound, defend your compound, go into towns, advertise your cult, try to draw people into it, build your whole religion and mythos. There's so much here that just seems so fucking cool. And yeah, I'm bought into this. I think this is going to be neat. This is definitely something cool to play with friends. It seems like there's a lot to it. Again, very much following the Schedule 1 vein of making like a not safe for work simulator almost. Something that's like deliberately illegal and deliberately like morally gray, right? Something that like typical humans won't experience because, you know, it's so
like I'm glad
upon,
that
but
this
like
kind
something that exists, right?
Right. I'm excited for this because, you know, it's just different, you know, and like to kind of jump on the Friend Slap train. Yes, it happens. They can be fun. That 2-week like Friend Slap phase that you have for a game is great, and this will be great to show. I'm just glad that they showcase something like this because then we can get some more casual stuff in there because it seems like a lot of like narrative driven hardcore stuff that's been going on so far. Going into the next narrative driven hardcore stuff, Senua.
Holy shit, dude.
What a franchise. What a fucking franchise.
I thought for sure this franchise was dead. Hellblade 2 was not good. It was a very mid game that felt like a 6-hour tech demo. And everyone was saying after that game came out and probably flopped, I don't know, it might have sold well, I didn't like it, that this franchise was dead, right? It felt like a franchise that Microsoft was ready to put the chopping block on. But apparently not. Apparently they're still bought in this franchise and bought into this idea. Hellblade 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. Hellblade 2 disappointed the hell out of me. I'm still interested in this franchise. I will still probably play this. I'm more shocked that this franchise isn't dead. I heard a lot of people saying this is more combat focused than the first two, which is kind of a good direction because the last one felt very directionless, right? And it kind of happy maybe they're moving in more of a more focused direction around the combat system, which has never really been that built out in these games. Yeah, this was cool. Happy to see this franchise is back.
And then let's see a franchise that just dropped the fucking ball.
Bethesda.
What the fuck are you doing?
Bethesda,
you know, 2 expansions that they announced. That's all they did. That's crazy to me.
Dude.
We won't go super deep in it.
No,
you
dude.
know?
I got to bitch for a little bit. Like.
Rant.
Dude, Dude, Bethesda, what the fuck are we doing? Right? Like, are you just a live service studio now? Is that all you are? Because it seems like all you're interested in doing is supporting Fallout 76. And I guess Elder Scrolls Online, which I was making fun of Elder Scrolls Online being at these things 10 fucking years ago, right? Like, no one has ever fucking cared about Elder Scrolls Online, besides the people who play it. Everyone who watches these showcases does not give a fuck about Elder Scrolls Online.
And it feels like every single time Bethesda's at a conference or something, they show something for Fallout 76, and that game is notoriously not loved. You know?
Well, apparently it did come back, and it has a very committed audience, and the player numbers on that game are surprisingly high. But still, like, Bethesda, you were holding hostage some of the most well-loved franchises of all time. You announced the Elder Scrolls 6 8 years ago today. There are people born and in second grade now when that was announced. Nonetheless, even talked about since then. Like, I'm convinced it's not real. I'm convinced all they've done is make a title card. And I have a lot to say about the Elder Scrolls 6 that I'm not going to get terribly into here. But it's just fucking bullshit that Bethesda comes out and does the absolute bare fucking minimum, below the bare fucking minimum of what they should be doing. Like,
honestly.
God, it just pisses me off.
It pisses me off because it's such a big franchise. It is a big studio with a lot of backing, with a lot of money. They could be doing something more productive with it. We have waited 8 years for Elder Scrolls 6. It's one of those things where it's probably going to end up, for a long time, it's going to end up like Half-Life 3.
It basically is Half-Life 3.
At this point, it's at Half-Life 3 status. But a game that we actually got to see. Yeah!
Oh,
Crazy Taxi.
This is cool. Don't drop the fucking mouse.
We're doing this.
It's cool to see this franchise back. I love the first Crazy Taxi. I got it. My PS2 copy. Right. Dropping everything.
Fuck.
Right here. This game fucks. It's so much fun. This is just a great arcade experience. I don't really know where you take this. Also, there have been AI allegations with this game, and honestly, the art style doesn't impress me. Part of me wonders if they're making a low-effort game, just buying in on an IP that has had no exposure in the past 20, 25 years. Still, I'm interested by it. I'm going to wait for it to come out.
It's going to be another one of those games where it's like, hey, yay, we're lots of fun. Yay, you remember this thing, right? It's kind of like this next one for me, Spyro. Having another Spyro game coming out is kind of... Yeah, it's cool, but at the same time, it's like, hey, remember this thing? You like this thing,
That looked a lot more competent than the Crazy Taxi game, too.
Oh, for sure.
Like there was a lot more to build off of, because Spyro is a massive franchise, and the 3D platformer genre in general kind of feels underserved a little bit.
And other than the remakes that they had recently, Spyro's been kind of dormant since Skylanders, really. So, like, it's nice to see it come back, It's nice to see a Temple franchise for kids from our childhood come back. Because, like, let's just be honest, a lot of these games kind of come out and they do look like they're for more mature audiences a lot. Don't get me wrong, if you're watching these presentations, you're probably a part of a mature audience. But
you're probably 18 to 34.
Yeah, but, like, your 18 to 34s are also going to get excited to see Spyro, because then they can show Spyro to their kids.
And they also grew up on it, right? Like,
and they also grew up on it, Like, it's simple, Like, let's give the flowers where they can. I'm excited for a new Spyro. Let's not, beat around the bush here, but at the same time, you also gotta now, acknowledge, like, this is probably just a cash grab for us millennials,
A little bit. Kind of feels that way.
Honestly, so I'm still excited, and I'm glad that, like, that franchise is coming back, but where's our Jack and Daxters? Where's fucking... I know that...
Sly Cooper.
Where's Sly Cooper? Insomniac, bring back Ratchet and Clank.
Rift Apart didn't come out that long ago.
I liked Rift Apart. But, like, they are focusing pretty heavy on these fucking Spider-Mans. And Wolverine, like... Bring back Ratchet and Clank. I love those games. So that's just personal.
One of the last games they showed off was Clockwork Revolution. This seems very BioShock Infinite inspired. I don't know if I have too much to say about this. I'm probably not going to play this because this is an Xbox exclusive with Gears of War E-Day. So this is probably going to be a skip for me because I don't have a modern Xbox. But It looked alright, I guess. The dialogue was a little cringy. It looks very different, I will say. After this, they closed the showcase with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 and Gears of War E-Day.
Have some thoughts on Modern Warfare.
Go ahead.
Just to kind of say this, stop supporting Call of Duty. Honestly, like, as a COD fan, like, I am a Call of Duty fan. If the rumors are true and they're bringing back Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 to modern consoles, I'm just going to start playing those.
I feel like you and many people.
Yeah, right. Like, just going to put this out there. Call of Duty is just one of those franchises that, like, really needs to stop doing the yearly release and start focusing on more, more innovation in its own self. So go back to 2 or 3 years between releases, Call of Duty. You could do that. And then one thing I also want to bring up is Magicians: A Devil's Deal. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that. That looks really cool. It's very BioShock inspired, where you get cards and spells and shit like that. I'm really excited for that. But with it closing out the Xbox showcase, I'm going to give this C-.
C-. I'd give it like a C+. I didn't absolutely hate it. I didn't watch the whole Gears of War E-Day, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, like gameplay directs afterwards, because I just don't care. I feel like a lot of these, a lot of the stuff shown in the middle, this is kind of an odd showcase, because a lot of the stuff shown in the middle was honestly more cool than the stuff shown at the beginning or the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd give this probably like a C+. I didn't absolutely hate it. There was some cool stuff shown.
May I say that C- is not me hating it. It just means that, like, it was just kind of
whatever. There wasn't a lot for you to care about, and I get that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Nintendo Direct, even though it had less stuff, I was more excited about,
About the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, we'll move on to that.
So this happened yesterday. This was the last showcase of, like, this week of gaming showcases, and they opened up with the new Rhythm Heaven game. Cool little minigame collection.
They've always been solid.
Yeah, they've always been cool little fun minigame collections. I've never played them. It doesn't really look that crazy. It looks fun. It looks kind of something silly and stupid that you could bust out. Very kiddie, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's Nintendo's kind of bag, is finding stuff that's a little bit more, approachable. Rhythm Heaven is one of those franchises. I'm glad that it's getting more love still. I'm still glad that it's there. I'm excited for it. Rhythm Heaven fans, be excited. We're moving on to Orbitals, cool little stylized co-op game.
This was something I had sent to me a while ago. This is it's very co-op inspired, kind of in like the split fiction type way. Very stylized with almost like an Astro Boy anime style to it. Looks cool. Thought it'd be something I'd highlight real quick.
You know what? I did watch the trailer for this. I was thinking about it now. I'm excited for this. It's very anime inspired, like you said, like very 80s and anime. It looks cool. I don't think there was AI used in it, but there is some kind of vibe to it for me that kind of looks AI.
Feels AI.
Yeah, very AI, but if it is all hand drawn, all like done in studio, I'm very excited for that. That looks cool.
After this is my ultimate exception, not the rule franchise, because I literally just said JRPGs are not my thing, but my favorite Nintendo franchise is Fire Emblem. This game right here is one of the best Nintendo games of all time, and none of you have ever played it, and y'all need to fucking play it. This game,
for those who are listening, isn't it Fire Emblem Awakening? Is that
Fire
correct?
Emblem Awakening, yes.
Yes.
Evan is sick of how much I talk about this game.
No, I'm not. It's not one of those franchises that kind of grab me.
This game fucks so hard, and I am always excited to see a new Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is one of those games that is hard to showcase in something like this, because it's a very deep experience, right, where you have your levels, but you also have your hub world with your support conversations and all of your interactive menus of characters and all your interacting RPG mechanics that all mesh together, right?
That's not something Nintendo necessarily like showcases a lot,
it's a hard game. It's very much one of those things where it needs a whole 45 minutes to show everything that is happening here, and you can't really show that off in a 5-minute showcase. They didn't really show that much off at this. It is coming out in September, another September release.
That's going to be a big one for you particularly, but
I don't have a Switch 2, so I won't be playing it.
It will be the reason you get a Switch 2 eventually. You know what I mean?
It will be one of the first games that I get when the Switch 2 comes out. Fire Emblem,
not when the Switch 2 comes out, when he buys the Switch 2. When he buys.
Thank you.
Notably, the Switch 2's been out for a while.
I worked 10 hours today. Cut me some slack.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is when I buy a Switch 2. This is definitely going to be one of the first games that I buy. Again, they didn't really show too much. This is a prevailing theme of a lot of these trailers. It felt like they didn't say anything, right? Besides this is coming out on this day, right? But like, again, I'm sure this will be good. Intelligent Systems doesn't miss. Yeah, no, I'm excited for this. Moving on after that, Deltarune Chapter 5 got a release date, which
And
is...
all those Deltarune fans get excited. That's cool shit.
That is cool as shit. I have never played Deltarune. I played Undertale. Toby Fox is a visionary, obviously.
Right.
But this is not super my thing, but I am very happy and excited for those people who are finally getting this. I know you've been waiting a long time for something like this. And
and especially since it's an indie developer. I know that Nintendo's kind of been making that swing into indie developers.
The Switch is the home of indie development, right?
Yeah, right now, at least for consoles.
Yes.
Obviously, Steam is a completely different beast, but it's cool to see that like Nintendo came out and they were like, "Yo, look at this fucking sick game made by just a dude that people are really excited for." Obviously, Undertale's a indie darling, and Deltarune has just been on a walk since then,
yes,
or on a run, really, So it's exciting to see that it's coming to the Switch 2, and that the fifth is, I believe, the final chapter.
I don't know.
I'm not 100%. I haven't played it either. It's been on my backlog for a while, but it's exciting to see. Awesome that Deltarune is getting that love. This one is personal for me, I guess, maybe because I like some of those friend slap games, but I'm excited for Big Walk. Big Walk is like a puzzle friend slap game where you are literally walking and you do puzzles, and that helps you progress along. I'm excited for this. That's all I had to say. I wanted to talk about it because it's one of those games where I'm like, that looks cool.
Want to platform it real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
You said you wanted to platform it real quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it real quick because I thought it was fun. It was cool. The next one being Xenoblade.
New Xenoblade project in development. Not my thing, but definitely something I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
And also they're bringing the first 3 Xenoblade games. I'm pretty sure Xenoblade X, that we use Xenoblade, to the Switch 2 as well, so everything is coming. We will talk about the ports eventually.
There's just to kind of like summarize a lot of this is there's a ton of ports, and that's kind of like the gist of what's happening on the Switch 2 right now, is that like they're kind of catching up to the other consoles, is what I've kind of noticed.
What it feels like, yeah.
It's what it feels like, yeah. It's just kind of like, oh, we're bringing this to the Switch, we're doing this to the Switch, we're doing this to the Switch, so, yeah.
But moving on from that, new Xenoblade game, didn't show too much, feels pretty far off, but cool to see it, cool that it's in the air. Following this, they talked about Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, which this is just Wii Sports Resort. This is just Wii Sports Resort.
I know people are talking about it because they're like excited for it, but at the same time, could you really capture that magic that the original Wii Sports and the Wii Sports can do in these games, especially with the art style that it currently has? I don't love it. The fact that they didn't go back to Mii's kind of blows my mind, but it's fine, I guess. But
no baseball either. A lot of people were complaining about that there's no baseball in Nintendo Sports or Nintendo Sports Switch Sports Resort.
that is a damn shame because baseball was fun.
Also, they spent like 5 minutes talking about the thumb wrestling thing, which was silly as hell, and it's just like another case of Nintendo getting off to themselves and wasting my goddamn time, which they are very good at.
They are very good at it. Coming from a fan, I love my Switch too. I'll be honest, but they piss me off sometimes. Moving on to something that all those Souls-like fans love, Duskbloods. That's a big, it's a Nothing Burger trailer.
Bloodborne spiritual successor, maybe. This was, again, another trailer that literally showed absolutely nothing. It was literally just title card, public beta, summer. That was it, right? And
yeah.
I think that's just FromSoft being FromSoft, right? That's just what they do, is everything about From Software's vision feels vague, right? That's just what the fuck they do.
Right.
I'm not a Souls-like fan. Admittedly, it's not my thing. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are super excited for this.
Yeah.
But we will see. After this, though, dude, I don't even play these, but Kingdom Hearts 4, dog? What the hell? That got
It's cool.
That got shown up in the middle of a direct? That's insane. Who does that? That blew my mind.
It's a crazy announcement. And the ports of the original 3 going to the Switch 2, also fun. It's cool to see. I've never been a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but Kingdom Hearts 4, sick. Okay, so I guess it's my little bit of a hot take. I don't love Sora's redesign in this. He looks too anime.
I heard a lot of people complaining that it kind of looked AI generated.
That's kind of valid. I can see where a lot of that's coming from. It just feels very anime, but then all of a sudden Donald Duck and Goofy are there.
Also, it needs to be said that this is insane. The first 3 Kingdom Hearts games, that package, how big do you think it is?
I have no clue.
500 gigs.
Fuck. Which means, the Switch not being able to hold that kind of...
Fuck no.
Kind of information. That thing is going to wipe a hard drive. I would not... That's...
insane.
If you want to play it on your Switch 2 because that's the only thing you got, go ahead.
But these games have existed on the PS2 for 20 years. And guess what? That game's going to cost $70 on the Switch 2. You can get each of these for probably $5-10, right?
Right.
So, like, if
go to your local reseller, game
from
reseller.
eBay, right? From anybody. Like, again, we're getting to why Nintendo pisses me off. I guess the last thing that ended the showcase was the Ocarina of Time remake, which, this is widely considered the greatest game of all time. So, getting a remake of that is very cool. I'm kind of curious what direction they're going to go with this. Are they going to try to open it up and make it closer to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom? Are they going to keep it closer to the original experience that it was intended? Curious what direction they go with it.
Ocarina of Time is just one of those games, right? It's been brought back and revamped and done a million times. At this point, it for the 40th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, I expected more. Don't get me wrong, they've been talking about this forever, right? Sorry, my phone's going off. They've been talking about this for fucking ever. It was inevitable that this was going to come out, but there are a plethora of Legend of Zelda games that could be remade and brought to a new audience. Considering they're just locked on the consoles that they are on.
Something like
your Twilight Princess, your Skyward Sword, there's a Switch.
Skyward Sword got to the Switch at least, right?
Twilight Princess,
is the
Minish Cap,
one.
Four Swords. Four Swords is on the NSO, but still.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's also NSO.
I would say Twilight Princess is the big one because Twilight Princess, you either are going to pay out your ass for the Wii U or GameCube versions, or you're going to play it using motion controls.
Right.
Unless you want to do very legal options with it, which I totally understand.
Especially with that current very legal port to
Recomp,
the PC,
which looks awesome. That's probably
awesome.
That's probably the way to play it.
Probably right now, at least. But I guess if you're gonna be upset about Ocarina of Time, go ahead and be upset. I'm not very upset. I'm not shocked. But there are other games they could have done. I'll play it because it's Ocarina of Time, right? And I love that game still. You don't love it as much as I do. I think
you were more raised on it than I was.
Well, I think it was for a long time one of my favorite games of all time. Of course, then Tears of the Kingdom came out, but just Ocarina of Time's great. But it's just I'll play it. I'm just kind of upset that it exists.
Yeah. It's something that whenever I do get a Switch 2, I will play. But yeah. You might notice that we talked about that Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Showcase in 10 minutes. And that's because almost all of it was fucking ports and remasters. All right, I got a fucking bone to pick.
75% ports and remasters and 25% new games.
It's these games have been in the wild for 2 years plus. If I wanted to play them, I could. Especially, too, if I wanted to play them, I could play them for cheaper. Nintendo games don't lose value. They hold value forever. They don't have sales on the eShop, right? There are cheaper ways to play these games. And it's it just makes Nintendo feel behind, right? We're talking about games like DMC5. I played DMC5 before I went to college. I've been graduated from college for 2 years. They brought out fucking Minecraft. I dug this out, particularly for this. This fucking hunk of plastic was where I played Minecraft for the first time 15 years ago. This laptop is a legal adult, right? Minecraft has been ported so many times. It's been ported in itself. You can play Minecraft in Minecraft. Why the hell do I care about Minecraft coming to the Switch 2? You can already play Minecraft on the Switch 2 because it's on the Switch 1, right? It just blows my mind that Nintendo thinks it's worth my fucking time to see Minecraft for the 106th time. And
to be honest with you, a less superior port of it. To be honest with you, because like not to go wrestle the jimmies of Bedrock versus Java players, I much prefer Java. You know, like that is free shaders, free mods, all that jazz. It coming to Switch 2 is not something I care about. And the big thing is they're showcasing vibrant visuals on the Switch 2. It doesn't matter. These ports don't matter. These don't matter. This is not a Switch catalog. It's Switch catching up.
Yes, and it just makes Nintendo look behind everyone else, where we're seeing all these other showcases showing the cutting edge of what video games are, what's coming next, either showing a new project that we never heard about or updates to an upcoming project. None of these were showcasing games that we already knew about. 70% of this Direct was shit that has already existed forever, right? And like, I know Nintendo fans and fanboys are going to be like, well, it's portable now. And I'm going to be honest, if you're a functioning adult over the age of 23 who lives anywhere besides Chicago and New York, and doesn't travel a lot, like via airplane, what viability does portability give you? I am too busy to take a Switch out and play that. Like, if I'm going to play video games, I'm going to be home, right? Like, and I just don't get it, right? Like, it's nuts. And maybe again when the Switch came out and I was 17, it had more viability for me, but nowadays it just doesn't. And again, if you're gonna do this, I'm fine with all these games getting ported. You have your social media app, announce them there. This is not worth the airtime at a Direct to show me Stellar Blade and to show me Minecraft and Devil May Cry 5, games that have existed forever that are coming to Switch. It's not worth my time. It's not worth anyone's time. You're wasting people's time. And again, I already have a lot of these games. I've already played a lot of these games. You're not convincing me to buy a Switch 2, right? You're not moving the needle for me by showing shit that I already have or I've already played, right? Like, Nintendo really needs to get their head out of their ass, and it pisses me off how much they think they're superior to everyone by doing this. It drives me fucking nuts.
It particularly pisses me off when it comes to Nintendo because Nintendo is one of those, pioneer gaming companies. Like, we would not have gaming without Mario. No,
we wouldn't.
We would not. And honestly, if Nintendo decided to just stop making games for 50 years, they could, and they could pay all their employees.
They could.
They honestly could. They're one of those franchises. They're one of those companies that just produces money. But honestly, Nintendo could be doing better. The Switch catalog is piss poor at best. It is not making me buy. Let's look at
the Switch 2 catalog. You mean
the Switch 2 catalog, particularly? What is exclusive to the Switch 2 right now? It's like 3 games.
Donkey Kong Bonanza,
which people don't like or love.
People love. I was critical of it. A lot of people like that game. I got a Game of the Year nominee. Mario Kart World.
Yeah, but one of the worst Mario Karts to date. Putting it out there.
Pocopia.
Pocopia isn't, I think, a Switch 2 exclusive, though.
It is.
It might be. I don't know. I know that you can play it like with Share Pass on your Switch 1 with the Switch 2 if you're on the same internet connection. So, like, it works. But, like, the catalog isn't there. I need some more games that are Switch 2 exclusive that are for the Switch 2.
Yes.
And look, you're getting your Ocarina of Time remake. You're getting Kingdom Hearts 4 onto the Switch 2 day of launch. That's cool.
You're getting Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff, but like
it's
not enough to consider it. It's still less than 10 games.
It is.
And it's 2 years into the Switch's launch.
And the Switch 2 is only becoming more expensive, and it's like, again, it's not moving the needle for me. Like, I feel like it's gonna take at least 3 or 4 more years for me to really be bought into buying one.
It might just take a Smash Brothers,
it might.
Like, I'm not saying that I'm disappointed there was no Smash Brothers release for this because I think Smash Ultimate is the pinnacle of what that franchise can do.
It is.
You really can't take it anywhere further than that, other than making another Subspace Emissary for a new one. But even then, it's not like gripping me. But yeah, Nintendo. I mean, if you want to rate the Nintendo Direct,
like a D+.
I'm feeling that as well. I might stretch it to C- because I'm a Nintendo guy, but
I think this was a lot worse than the Microsoft one. That's like why it's in the D territory for me. D+, D, right? Like every other showcase showed the cutting edge. This showed so much shit that I already know exists. And it sucks going into a Nintendo Direct knowing that this is the case. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be majority ports. It's going to be majority shit I've already played or can play right now for cheaper than what it's going to be on the Switch 2. Right?
I remember when Directs were very exciting.
Yes.
Now Directs just kind of feel like, okay, well, games are coming to the Switch 2 that's been out on the PlayStation 5 for a few years already. You know, let's talk about like a GameStop. You go into a GameStop, look at the sections. Look at how many games are on the Xbox Series X or a Series S or, whatever.
PS5, PS4.
Let's look at the PS5 catalog. Look at the Switch catalog, Switch 2 particularly.
Yes.
It's like 10 games max. Less than two hands worth of fingers. You know what I mean? It's terrible. And it pisses me off. It pisses me off as a fan of the franchise. It pisses me off as a fan of Nintendo. It pisses me off as a fan of that console because I think the Switch 2 is fantastic. It really is. I think it's a cool console. I think that the updated Joy-Cons are great. It works better. It works better than the first one. So it pisses me off that this is what they are treating it like.
But what is a console without its games, right?
It is really that. Like, why am I buying a Switch 2 when I can just play those games on my more well-running console?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's going to be cheaper, and it's probably going to run better, and it's not going to run out of battery in 2 hours.
Exactly. And yes, like, you can play it on the dock, but, like, honestly, if you're playing your Switch 2 on the dock a lot, it mainly is just because it's the only thing connected to your TV at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. I have my Switch 2 in my room because I can just undock it, dock it back on. It's not a big deal, Let's wrap this up here because it's getting kind of long. We'll stop here by finally addressing the elephant in the room. I started talking about it earlier. We're gonna end on this. Everything is coming out in September, October for November, except for 2 other games than this. GTA 6.
It's crazy, because this is a mess, right? Like, looking at the release count, I'm so excited for games, and this has been such a great year for video games, and I'm very excited for the game industry is heading. But as someone who tries to play a lot of games, I'm looking at September with fear because it's so overwhelming. I'm looking at this like I want to play like half these games, and I got to pick my battles here because I only have so much time and so much money, right? And it's like I've never seen
There's never been an entity in the gaming industry like this.
Take it more than that. I've never seen a media space where one release is warping the entire industry. Name me a movie that stopped all other movies coming out within a month span of it. Name me an album that did that affected the entire industry to that degree. Even something like Breath of the Wild, which I think was the last time a game felt this hyped. Horizon Zero Dawn came out 5 days before Breath of the Wild, right? Like, that game did not warp the release schedule around it the way that GTA 6 is. And, like, the thing is, the way that the game industry is stepping on each other's toes here is going to affect sales, right? Like, looking at September 24th, there's, like, 6 games coming out that day, right?
Just the 24th.
Just the 24th. Like, you're not going to be able to buy everything. And, like, I really feel for, your people working at IGN and GameSpot. Like, I'm sure they're pissed knowing that they're going to have to get these reviews out on time, seeing this absolute mess of a game schedule.
Right.
Your GameStop workers and retail workers who have to sell this stuff, making it a mess for them, too. I'm sure there's a lot of pissed off people by the game industry's decision to do this, right? And is GTA 6 really going to be this massive entity? Is it going to just take over the zeitgeist in this way? And it might, right? And I think
let's not beat around the bush here. Even if GTA 6 sucks, it will be talked about for a little while. You know what I mean?
A little while.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, if it sucks, it'll be still talked about for at least a month because it'll be oh, GTA 6 sucks, there's nothing with it, whatever,
If
blah, blah, blah.
GTA 6 is terrible, it will be talked about for the rest of time. Right?
Right,
It will never be forgotten.
And here's the thing, like, Rockstar hasn't hit every single time. They have recently, but recently quotations, right?
Red Dead 2 came out, 8 years ago?
Right, Red Dead 2, which is the last game before GTA 5, which was
Came out 13 years ago?
yeah, so I guess they had a track record, but the track record is of games that came out 10 years apart to 15 years apart, So, it blows my mind that this game is just holding such a chokehold on everything. And it's funny that the only two games that are standing up against it in November are a Godzilla game that's a remaster from a game from the GameCube and then a Barbie game.
I think they just don't care.
I mean, yeah, okay, so if you were excited for those games, you're probably just going to buy them anyways. But, they aren't standing against GTA 6. You know what I mean? People know that, if you're going to release a game in November, it's probably for those people. Maybe the developers were like, oh, maybe we should just release in November. It's not going to affect our sales that much.
The thing with GTA 6 is you have to look... You have to look at some media where someone was just written a blank check, right? Because, the thing with Rockstar is Rockstar's done no wrong, right? They are living in a universe where they have done no wrong, right? I hope... I have a strong feeling it's going to be good, but maybe this might have too much feature creep. Maybe this might be too ambitious. Maybe it might just not work, right? I
don't think we've gotten gameplay yet.
The thing is, we got our release trailer, but we haven't gotten anything since then. We haven't gotten any gameplay, and we haven't even gotten a trailer since then, and pre-orders are still not open. The funniest thing ever
we don't even know how much it costs, and it comes out in November.
Don't even know how much it costs. And the funniest thing ever would be if it gets delayed and the entire game industry was hung around this game, was warped around this entire game, and it just doesn't happen and it gets delayed, right? That would be fucking hysterical. Or as we have been saying, it sucks. I've never seen this before in any media space ever, where one property, one release warps everything around it, where everything is terrified to come out around it. Can you name a movie where that's happened?
There's only one movie I can think of, and I just thought of it about now. Endgame.
Nothing came out around Endgame?
Nothing around Endgame, nothing around Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah, those two movies kind of, because, this is peak MCU, right? So, nothing wanted to try to touch that. But even then, it did not have the grasp that GTA 6 has right now. People still released a movie a week after Endgame, but it was a whole week. Nothing came out that entire time, and it came out in the summer. That's when you release a blockbuster, is in the fucking summer, right? So, the fact that GTA 6 coming out in November...
In the middle of release season.
Yeah, in the middle of release season, has such a stranglehold on the industry is fucking mind-blowing. And I am going to say this. Nick is a little scared. I think that most Rockstar games kind of suck. I don't give a fuck about them. Not a single one. I do not care.
I'm not the biggest Rockstar fan.
I'm not going to hate them. I don't care.
That's a crazy take.
I'm going to say it because, it pisses me off that this game is so fucking influential. Because it's going to be another game where the person I'm controlling is going to walk around in circles for a little while, and the controls kind of just don't make sense, and it's just going to be another game that just does whatever for me. It's not going to change my mind. It's not going to change the way I think. It's not going to be some in-depth story. It's about Bonnie and Clyde. That's what it looks like. A Bonnie and Clyde set in San Andreas, right? So
Vice City, but yeah.
Or Vice City. I don't care. I don't. And look, you can be excited for GTA 6 all you want. I'm not going to stop you. I've been saying that all the time. This whole podcast. GTA 6 is going to be either great or bad. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you got all these games clumped up in the pipeline just for it to release. It's like if you have to poop. This is really...
the game industry is constipated.
The game industry is constipated and waiting for GTA 6 to finally get the fuck out of here. So they can actually go back and release games at a normal fucking schedule. You know, like, the only other game that I could see doing this is fucking Half-Life 3. But I think if Half-Life 3 were to just drop tomorrow...
Well, the thing with Half-Life 3 is that if it's real, Valve will just drop it on Twitter one day, and it'll come out like 3 months later.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I don't think Valve fucking cares, right? Like, and again, it's just a crazy effect that GTA 6 is having, and I think it's making it more difficult for some people, especially working in retail spaces and game industry, to like really review these games and keep track of them, and also just like normal players like me, to be able to keep up and play these games, because there's so many games I want to play that are so tight together. Star Wars Zero Mission, Control Resonant, Wolverine, Ace Combat 8, Galactic Racers. All of these games are coming out within a 6-week period, right? It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's a crazy time to be into video games. These next 6 months are going to be wild to see. I think the next time we're going to do a podcast like this is probably going to be for the TGAs. Maybe we'll do one before then.
We'll probably find something. I mean, I honestly kind of like doing these. I'll probably come up with some ideas. If you guys have any ideas for podcast ideas, we can definitely do that. Because these are easier for us. This is easy for us to put up. So come talk to us. I'd love to. I'm trying to get us on Spotify right now. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But is there anything else you want to add before we kind of close out here?
I'm pretty much good. I talked about everything I needed to talk about. I love where the game industry is at right now. I love where the game industry is moving. I love the focus on narrative linear experiences. I'll definitely say more about that towards the end of the year. But I think for now, I am Nick.
And I'm Evan.
And this is War Productions. Have a great night.